Right. Oh,
I got it. There you go.
You got it.
Hey, everybody. It's March 28th, MicroProfile marketing call. I don't remember what we say during this, but we're going to go through some tickets and go through the agenda now.
Ryan, sorry,
Yeah.
before you start, can you enlarge the font, please? It's very small. Thank you.
All right. I guess we'll start with priority discussion items. Are these all new notes, by the way?
Yes,
Okay.
all of these are new.
All right. Who put them in?
I put
If
one.
they're not action items, you can cover because there's no point for me to cover them if I don't know what they're about.
Yeah, I will do this. So with the stewards, can you click on the stewards link, please? So it says that we have Vince from Atlanta Jag as the steward for February and March. This is the first time he is doing this, and who is onboarding him?
I don't think anyone is. I shared some resources with him to try and answer questions that he might have. I didn't get a response from it, but I know that he did get it. I don't have the bandwidth myself to be onboarding someone at the moment, but I wanted to help since I myself just went through it.
All right. So,
Yeah.
So I went through it this morning and I couldn't find the tickets that showed Vince was onboarding for these 2 months. So I wasn't able to communicate with him directly.
He's not in the project. So I sent him an invitation to say, like, here's how you get on GitHub, create a ticket. From the ticket, these actions will follow. But we stopped, the action stopped there.
Oh, okay. So Vince is a contributor, a former contributor of the working group via the Eclipse GitHub for MicroProfile, which means he is in the project. What we're going to do, because really, if no one was with him through onboarding, it means that he really wasn't able to help because, as you know, Caitlin, it takes a lot of work and a lot of attention to enable someone to be successful, right? Even Ed, that has been with us for so long, still had some questions, and it's just a matter of, Q&A through the tickets and sometimes private, right? So what we're going to do is when I spoke with him back in January, he said he wanted to do it in April. And I'm surprised that he was in February and March, but I haven't seen him in March. So what we're going to do is maybe remove him. I do not know if he helped in those months, but maybe to talk with him and ask him if he wants to properly get onboarded, so that he can do the minutes, send the minutes to the forums, follow up the Git issues, and all those things that are missing from the follow-ups of owning the work for the month, right? So I can own that responsibility, and I can even onboard him if he chooses to do April. April is an okay month for me to be able to help him. But I will talk with that so we can write in the minutes that I will help. And then we need to find someone. If he doesn't do April, we will need to find someone else to volunteer for this.
Yeah, I've been thinking on that front. I would love if you all are open to it. This has been a good experience for me to go to the other member organizations and use my recruiter platforms to go and maybe recruit maybe an Oracle recruiter or, a recruiter at one of our other working group members to show, like, you may not know that your company is doing this project, but there's value in it for you, and to come and join as a steward. Would you all be open to me taking those steps? I know previously it was said, we'd really like for people who are already in the project to join the marketing stewards, but it may be an opportunity to bring more people to the project in the first place.
So my take on I will go first just because I cannot speak for Oracle or iJag or IBM or other partners. But what we need to do is first ask the working group members if within their organizations there are members who would like to participate in the marketing side. So there is a step, for example, I asked the Garden State, can you assign someone from the JAG? Your JAG is like large. Is someone active that can communicate and is eager to meet and work in open source, like openly? And then they went, and clearly Neha is fantastic, and then you are fantastic. So that kind of thing happened directly with the members. I believe that it will be a great idea tomorrow if you could join the community call, say, hey, members, I would love to talk with, the assigned reps for the steering committee and understand why are we not having someone from your organization participating in the markets inside, and what can we do to enable that, right? Clearly we have representation by Ed here, and Ed has been a steward, so he's covered. And then Emily from IBM, we have it, but we're missing a few other members like Fujitsu with Kenji, and Kenji will not be able to do it because of the change time. But you see, we have all these constraints, and John is here as well, but he hasn't done the steward, right? The organization has like 43 jobs. Maybe you ask John directly tomorrow, right? Like, or that kind of thing. You could ask privately to each member, hey, there are 2 assigned members for each organization, and then say, hey, is there anything we can do to improve this? We need your coverage, right? That kind of thing before.
What is, so yes to all of that. I'm happy to take on doing that. I also wonder, what is the ideal number of stewards to have? Do we need to have at least 12 people in order to spread the workload out evenly throughout the year?
Yes. Ideally, that would be it. But for the moment, we're covering 2 months. But it would be amazing to have the more the merrier, because we want every month 2 stewards. They will be in parallel, right? Like, for instance, you and I were January, right? And December, and it worked great. There are vacations, there's PTO, there's all these other things, right? So one is not enough a month because things happen. So we need 2 a month. The more the merrier. There's no limits.
Okay, great. And then each steward should take 2 months each year. So 12 should cover it.
Yeah, at the minimum will be 6. The minimum will be 6, the bare minimum, with 2 a month. But ideally, the number increases to drop us all to just 1 with co-hosting. Co-hosting is the additional that we all do. Ed co-hosted last week, 2 weeks ago, and he's amazing at it, right? But Ed, you're here. Ed still needs to choose another month, like, to lead, right? Like, it's up to him. And then Jan, you're here. I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but I'm going to ask, you have yet to do it. Maybe you want to onboard yourself or someone else in your organization. Those kind of things, right? So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I by myself, not short on work because I'm active in 3 working groups. And currently 1 spec, and I missed the MP telemetry call today because of the other work. So I would like to forward asking for help to the JAG leads if somebody is interested to join to take that role.
That would be great. There you go, talking. And Caitlin, are you comfortable to join tomorrow and say, hey, this is what we would like to do, and just present it. Very simple. Your words.
Let me quickly just check my calendar.
It's at 11.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. So that's at 2:00 Eastern time. I can join. And I mean, you have a recruiter in your midst. So I would like to use those skills and help recruit more people to this group, because there's a lot to do and everyone's really passionate, but we all have many commitments. So I want to help expand the manpower, so to speak.
+1. Anyone -1 on that?
No.
All right.
Definitely not.
Cool.
There we go. So please write up in the agenda, the follow-ups.
Okay. So I just want to keep this moving because we're already 20 minutes in and only first topic. Next is who put this in? Amelia?
Skip, John is not here, so I'm not sure what he's
Okay.
talking about.
Budget?
But I can say something about that.
Okay.
The background is the MP Metrics team made a poll, or actually the poll was conducted by Emily via Twitter to make a decision how to go forward, in which direction with MP Metrics.
Oh, sorry, John. Yeah, can I just correct you? It's not making decision. So basically, can I just because I was involved in the very deep involved in the metrics team. Actually, they made a decision. Basically, it's I think it's with Oracle, IBM, and Tommy Tribe. So it's Jonathan also IBM is done, and then Oracle is team. I think, and also IBM has also David as well. So they have been met and discussed the solutions. They also came to the MicroProfile technical call. So I asked Don to present these solutions, and also discussed on the send an email to the mailing list. And then they discussed on the prototypes. They made a decision to go with the solution like option 3 in their Google Doc is public available. And then they want hear what customers view on this, and then they come up with a question. And also with some answers as well. And then in the technical call, we are saying actually we want to hear more from this MicroProfile community rather than from another community. Obviously, if we send the question to Spring community, it will give us a completely different answer. So basically they asked on the mailing list and didn't get many response. I said, okay, I will tweet from my own Twitter handle because my followers is pretty much a lot understand the MicroProfile. So basically I kind of send out, I create a poll and with their question and also with their answers and etc. just gather some feedback. So it's for them to consider. But this is not directly they are trying to make any decision. But some people come back and to say whether this question, I think it's more to do whether what's the best way to get a feedback or something like that. So official way to create a polling framework and etc. So yeah, so this is kind of thing that I want to just clarify is not they directly use this one to make a decision. They already made a decision and want to get some feedback.
Yeah, that's correct. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's correct. The decision was made independently of the result, but yeah, it was conducted to get some community feedback for the decision to make sure the right decision is chosen. And then we say, yeah, that process or that kind of poll might not reflect the community meaning in the right way, and then that task was created to this community to find a way how to do the polls in the right way to support important decisions.
Okay.
Maybe we can discuss that on the next meeting, but yeah, everybody is invited to get some ideas how to do that in the right way. My personal meaning is it would be good to do that on the mailing list and a good way to support everybody to contribute in that decision on the mailing list might be to also use social media to bring the community on the mailing list to that topic. Or do an official survey, but that excludes a lot of people too. But yeah.
So Emily and John, thanks so much for the updates, or like the clarification. So MicroProfile Working Group pays for SurveyMonkey in addition to Hootsuite, which uses 3 different media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So go ahead, Ryan.
No, nothing. I was just saying LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I think it is important that we have written a tracker document that is a part of the wiki. I will add it to this item for documentation. And I believe that that SurveyMonkey can be used. We have the committer rep currently is Edwin, and the technical side of MicroProfile can work with the committer rep to throw surveys. Surveys are different than polls, right? Polls are very effective in Twitter, but not everyone is in Twitter. So like Jiang nicely said, that will not include everyone. So if we want to include more, the community forum is great for that. I do believe that, Emily used her Twitter handle. We saw it, I retweeted it through the MicroProfile handle, but I'm not sure how the impact would have been if it had been created and thrown first by the MicroProfile handle. So if we want to, consume this kind of thing, let's start a thread in the marketing forum with the community forum. I think first marketing forum only, Emily and Jiang, and then start a discussion there. And then we go forward before we go into the community for more insight of to how do we wish to do this, because we should simplify. We already have the budget. We have SurveyMonkey. If we need to add a few more contributors to Twitter via Twitter deck, so be it. But we need to be very careful. And it needs to be, have you read the tracker wiki? Do you know the code of conduct on media? Not only that of Eclipse, but also of MicroProfile. We don't reply via media ever, because we don't hide behind a working group, right? If you're going to speak as an individual. So all these things need to be tackled together and they're open. So are the two of you comfortable sending a message to the marketing forum to start this conversation? First with the 20-some of us, and then we can move to the community.
I thought maybe it's more scalable if we create a Git issue and have all the things, comments, and people brainstorm it.
Discussions, you mean?
Yeah, and basically, either discussion or just directly create a Git issue on the marketing core, on the marketing GitHub repo to say establish a polling framework, and then people can, because the thing is,
how will they find it?
Sorry?
How would they find the Git issue? You'd still have to email it.
Yeah, it's a kind of we still can email it, and then people can add comments directly in the Git issue, so we can track it. So basically, it's a kind of we want track all these kind of the comments and etc. I think I don't want to have this prolonged conversation. The thing is, if because Don Born posted the question on the Google group, it seems nobody, only 2 people responded. I'm not sure whether Google group attract the more contributors than consumers, or the kind of the Twitter follower have more kind of consumers. These all depend on what type of questions, right? So if you want to ask contributors what we want to do things, or want to ask consumers what do they think we provide this capability or something. So I think that might be kind of based on the what kind of type of question. Some question might be suitable for some like a type of social media, or some other question may be suitable for the kind of the more the Google group discussion or something like that.
Exactly that, Emily, you nailed it. It depends on what kind of question and outcome we want. Are we going to apply no matter what the results? If so, what are we going to use? So in the past, we have used a Git issue in the marketing, like you mentioned, and we have followed with Twitter, which works. And that means there was a thoughtful review on everything. We have used Google Drive to create the polls, and it has been reviewed by many people. We need to be careful when we simplify this to make sure that not only 1 or 2 people saw it, but maybe more MicroProfile saw it, because there was some feedback afterwards to that tweet and poll where some MicroProfilers were like, I think it was Erin saying, the question is wrong, but she was not able to provide the feedback because it went out before community awareness. I believe that we will be better off using the Git issue to send it to the community forum to say, hey, provide feedback on this because this is going to go live in 1 week or whatever. And if feedback doesn't get through it on that time, so be it. But I think we have some things to improve, and this is a great conversation. I do believe that we can just start doing a Git issue, send it to the community for, like draft for the polls, especially when technical, for further review, and then we can push it over media, wherever we want, at least at the bare minimum. And I think we should go on with this. It's not complicated, at least not in my view, because we will make mistakes, which is incredibly awesome.
Yeah, I think it's kind of yeah. So the other thing is also I'm trying to say, yeah, some people think a question wrong. However, like the spec team want to find out some questions. I think you're right. Is if you put I think Don already did it, put on the Google group already that question. Maybe it's kind of in the future we say, okay, this is a question we're going to ask. Maybe you have a better question. Maybe it's just recommend a better question. So This is what we are trying to do. In this case, like people don't like come up and say, actually, you haven't asked my opinion or something like that. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Basically, we do need to establish a process. How about, I think, Yan, do you want to create a Git issue and send a note to the marketing Google group? Or you want me to?
Oh, I'm definitely not using the Google group at all. I'm not the right person to use another tool to track.
I know you, so that's why I ask you before, like a volunteer to say that. Okay, so I can create a GitHub issue on the marketing and then send a note to the marketing Google group so that people can like comment, provide feedback or something like that. Okay.
That sounds wonderful. Ryan, did we lose Ryan? There you go.
What's up? So that topic's done?
I think so. And then we will revisit once we have more feedback.
All right. Swag 633, what's the status on the printed shirts?
Yeah, so as far as I know, the order has gone to Deluxe. I haven't heard an update since then, so I can follow up with Elsie and find out where things stand.
Great.
Yeah, I do have a question. Who placed the 2022 swag order? I think that one we were doing a combo of shirts and hoodies, right?
Yeah, we will. I can go on to this one. We will, and I believe that even Ryan has already adjusted 2022. Ryan, did you do that adjustment?
Oh yeah, a few months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was what, January? So the design is already ready, but we don't know the swag amount because it depends on the budget. John is not here, so tomorrow we're going to ask via the community call, what is the update on the budget? Because as everyone remembers, we have adjusted the budget, but the newest one has not been dropped by the Eclipse Foundation yet. So we're blind on this. There is nothing we can do but to wait for 2022 swag.
Well,
then-
Jakarta wrote me a few weeks ago asking for where the print files and the adjusted ones in the 2021 or 2022. So did they use them for something?
Caitlin, I think they used that only for 2021, 5,000 buy it.
Okay, so that was
I have-
this print run. Okay.
Yeah, and I asked because I have only really been involved with the 2021 order, but Elsie asked me who she should direct questions to about the hoodies, which I can only assume means the 2022 order, and I want to put her in touch with the correct person.
The Eclipse Foundation cannot order 2022 swag for the working group without our exact order, because
Okay.
the working group is the one who decides what and how the swag is going to be distributed, not the Eclipse Foundation. We have 51 committers. Not all of them are active, but there are committers who will get the swag this year. They have each different sizes. So there is a process within the process that needs to be followed, and it can only be done by the working group, which means we are the ones to contact our community, say, hey, we want you to have the t-shirt and the hoodie, provide your address and the sizes, and we will ship it to you, right? The distribution.
And that's where we were going to use Vince. Vince had like a one-off order system that he
Correct.
recommended for. Okay. So
Correct.
what I will do is I'll follow up with Elsie and find out where things stand on the 2021 order. And then I'll let her know that for the 2022 order, which includes hoodies, we're not ready to move forward yet.
Yes.
And that I'll follow up with her when we are.
Correct. There should not be at all anything 2022 in her lab,
Okay.
because we don't even have the budget
Okay.
set. And then the working group is the one who decides how it wants to distribute the hopefully 12,000 plus in swag, or even more than that. It depends what the Eclipse Foundation approves of our requested desired budget. So.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
As soon-
Updating the minutes here.
Yeah, and Caitlin, as soon as we know when the t-shirts will be ready, I think on the next call, we will talk about, before that, we can talk online. We will need to decide what jogs will get the t-shirts, like we decided last year, and all these things, and we want it to be global. So this is something for the future call, but we will work offline via email or Git issue to make sure we decide what communities will get it globally.
Okay. So that will be a future conversation.
Yeah, we will do it online, like via the Git issue, to say, hey, we have already a document, a spreadsheet that has a bunch of different, it has the 5 continents, the jogs that we will desire to see. We have the numbers. We need to revise the numbers and say, hey, is it 20 enough? We will send 20. Do we cut it to make it 40? Who is most active? And do this kind of analysis to send it to our communities. Clearly, this will include your jog, Caitlin, Garden, Atlanta, iJog, etc.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, next topic. It's my topic. I did start working on this finally. Sorry for the delay. But I set up a layout, but I will need some concrete information about each compatible implementation. It's still rough because it's just a layout, but you can see here, this is one layout we can do. I just put a filler logo, obviously, but we can replace name, small description. I'm not sure what content we want to show. It will be rollover click, so we don't need a button or anything. It'll be pretty obvious that you'll be able to click it, and then we can link it to whatever page you want. I couldn't remember on the last discussion if we were trying to sort it in some way. like Jakarta does. So I just put this other, other option.
I think Ryan, I think is the sorting order is whoever like basically it's whoever implement first will be the first one, and then in the sequential order. So I think that's something is I think is makes more sense rather than random order.
So
I'm not talking about this order. We talked about sorting. Like Jakarta has different implementations or different tabs.
So Ryan, thank you so much for working on this and bringing it today. Have you seen the document that is created to provide you the information on how to create the page? There is a document linked to the Git issue that has the information exactly on these are the masks and the parameters. Have you seen it? Because if you haven't, this is a great start. It needs
it's not this one, is it? Website.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's one.
That's it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is I don't like, there's a lot of information that's here. I don't want to be contacting 10 different people to try to get exact content for it.
Okay.
We need a list of logos, name, links for each ones, and if we want a subtitle or not. Also need to, like I said before, I need to know if we are sorting it like Jakarta is. Is there multiple categories, or is it just going to be one big list?
The sorting is going to be, yeah, so I can tell you immediately here, the sorting is going to be only for releases, say MP5, then MP6, then MP 6.1, like 4.1.
It should start from MP 4.1 because that's the first release.
Under the working group.
Yeah, under this working group.
Yes.
So basically, it's kind of in this page we have like a release. When you click on a release, and then you have you can see the implementations.
So this is not the same. So we're not setting up the same way that MicroPro or Jakarta does.
No.
Amelia point out that doc, that's especially, I think that's constructive feedback from someone dislike Jakarta in that page. And then kind of so this is also, I think I also looked at the master have features. I think it makes more sense.
But Ryan,
but this is fine. But like I said, I see this list of releases. Okay, fine. I need a document that has the list of releases, the links, what we're putting, and then what's inside that. But this does nothing to help me build a page. Honestly.
Perfect. So Emily, let me go in here. I'm sorry to say this, but let me go in here. Ryan, we will help you. This is exactly the kind of conversation we need from you. Emily back in January said that she would help on this side of the releases. I remember, Emily, are you still able to own providing via the Git issue or via this ticket? You can say, these are the links, these are the names of the implementations. And can you still do it, or do we need to reset?
Yes, I think it's in the last, if I remember correctly, in the last call, I think I would like to work offline with you, Ryan, and and then all you need to do is have some initial things, and then I explain to you exactly what it should be end up with the comments, and then we can bring in.
Go ahead.
I put a link from the Jakarta platform spec. And that was the original idea, which is possible that could be used now. You see compatible implementations. And if you use other specs, detailed specs from that page, then concrete implementations are listed.
Mm-hmm. And Jan, this is one of my most favorite pages, the one that you showed with the voting. Is one of my favorite pages on the Jakarta compatible. Here it shows you the members that voted. It shows you the links to the repos, and we will add the blog announcements plus more that is written under must. So Jan, can you add this link to the documents shared by Ryan and also add it into the minutes, because this here is the most important information, the truth of that release. And Ryan, is that okay with you if we will add it here in the document, and then maybe Emily and you can work and update the Git issue? If you were to meet, you say, hey, today we met and we discussed X, and just very summary, very short, to make sure that there's no vacuum. If you spend 5 minutes, that will be 10 minutes between the two of you. And that is time really, really valuable.
To get this page organized and like enough content is going to take a little, unless like someone just fills it all in.
So I think
like, what we need is to structure a page. We need to know what's going to be on the home page exactly. Like how many categories, like how many versions now that you're saying it's releases. So how many releases, what releases, where are those links going to? Since we're not putting like companies on the front page, we're just doing releases. So it's just going to be a release name, no logos or anything like that.
Correct.
And you know what, if it's just going to be a name, or we're going to have a little subhead, something like this, you know, where is this going? What's on that page, and where those links on those pages go.
I think that can be populated. This is why I'm asking Emily. She can populate it all and then gather you in a call and say, hey, this is what we have. Do you have questions after you have reviewed it? And that would be a nice onboarding, because you don't have time to waste, neither Emily. And I believe ping pong won't work because this is complicated. So Ryan, you tell us where we're failing and we will just fail faster.
I'll make a new doc because this,
I know, I'm sorry.
This has a lot in it, and there's no point.
Yeah, make it 2022 compatible page. Do and the working group and the website drive folder, because Ryan, I just added it from the previous website features, which is wrong of me, and it is up to you to clean it. Clearly, I'm not
What's
doing
up for me to clean?
Yeah, it is. Whomever owns it, whomever owns the task can keep this thing and move it to a new document and say, we're working on this. This is just compatible page. And that will be even better because it's not going to be hidden in the future. This page is going to mutate. Trust me on this.
So let's just summarize this. Actually, it's how about this, Ryan? So we to get together. I think at a moment in time, we just look at the must-have. In order to do what Jakarta is doing, that's a huge. That's at the moment there's no way to store the kind of voting and etc. That's brand new things that can come later. Let's do the first things first. Let's get the compatible implementation in first. Basically, go through the 4.1, 5.0, and then in the 4.1, which one to list. And then it's kind of also we can provide some links to the spec and also to the release, incorporate all the feedback. So we can iteratively improve this one. And there's however, if we throw too many requirements first, probably is I don't know when we can have a page.
Emily, you totally nailed it. We have 4.1 and 5. The 4.1 is just to do the draft and then gather feedback. The 5 is to implement the feedback and see what we don't like and what can be dropped or added, and then we move forward. That is just so cool. We have 3 blogs of 5.0, Spanish, English, and InfoQ. We have 1 blog from 4.1. we will iterate, and it is not only the content, but all this information from this page. This page, Jakarta EE10, is a sort of truth for the release. Oh, Jan, what?
Sorry, just found out the link was screwed up in the document. I added another link which is more specific and than the platform link, that of Servlet 5.0. There are concrete implementations. They are already added to the document now.
Great. So Ryan, are you a little bit happier with us based on the kind of mess that we provide you and you're like, this is too messy?
I still have no idea what's going on or what you want, because now you're talking about this page, and what we discussed was more about the other Jakarta page, which was just logos and then linking them to some other page. But now we're talking about a home page with a bunch of information, or a home compatible implementation page that links to a list of the logos and compatibility. So unless, like I said, we need to get some actual content down with links.
Emily will do it.
Yeah. I understand, totally understand you. Is Ryan is a kind of also different thread pooling. However, look at this. Yeah, you come up with and etc. This is not directly related to what we asked Ryan is doing. So for your later but they are all useful information. For this kind of things is kind of we will make the information we will make to the individual specs. However, Ryan is trying to design a compatible implementation page, basically list all the release and also implementations and etc. And then there's so many areas we can improve. Let's get the page first, and then we can discuss that page. I think the much easier to look at the page and then discuss that page, and then we can focus on that task. And then once we have that page in, and then we can build on top of it. So now it's kind of all kind of the individual spec refer to the page, and then the page refer to the individual spec. At the moment, we don't even have a page. So So Ryan, okay, let's discuss on Slack and find 1 hour time slots. Luckily in the morning, hopefully, because we are in the same time zone. And then let's put some draft together, and then hopefully next week or a couple of weeks time, we'll come to marketing team and show the draft, and then we
send it to the marketing guys.
Okay.
Send it to the marketing and working group forum. And then ask for feedback. You have a ticket, you send it there. Don't wait for a call. We don't need a call to move forward.
Okay.
I need a call to move forward.
No, you do too, but Emily is going to be there with you, and you can always pull me in if the time is okay for me. But this is fun. I
will work with you, Ryan. And then we set up a call, and then let's discuss it. Maybe we need a couple of calls and to go through it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ian, for sharing all this. I think that's we have plenty of things that can do after we have this page.
And Ryan, when you're frustrated about this, just say so publicly.
I'm not frustrated. It's just it's not going to go anywhere unless I'm really straightforward.
Not yet.
So I'm just trying to save us some time. That's all.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for the patience, because we, you just have to tell us, no, guys, this is not going to work.
We have too much asking. Expect it a lot. So let's do first thing first.
Perfect. All right. What's down here? Marketing documentation.
Yeah, I need to sync up with Neha on where we stand on that. So I don't have an update today, but I can provide one next time.
Okay. And we got marketing, what is it? MicroProfile Working Group 5 release announcement.
Yeah, so it's March, end of March. And back in November 24th, the working group asked the Eclipse Foundation to provide the pay release announcement. If everyone remembers, for the budget of 2021, the Eclipse Foundation charged the working group $40,000 for marketing activities. Within those, there were 3 items: SEO, but the website is not ready. It has only 3 pages that are active. And the $5,000 swag that we are using, and an announcement. Ed was one of the people that really wanted this announcement to happen. Like, everyone agreed that it was a good idea. I was a -1 because I don't see the value on a formal announcement by the in such a way, based on other works on projects within the Eclipse Foundation. It's March and we don't see the announcement. The question is here, do we want to ask via the Git issue to the foundation to put that announcement for MP6, or do we close the tickets and just make the money to be lost? Because it has been 3 months and no movement. I'm not sure how badly.
Holding it back.
Oh, can I jump in to say something?
Go ahead, we have 2 minutes.
Yeah. So basically, they are working on it. So I was I was contacted by the median like Eclipse Foundation used for the technical interview. So they also interviewed me and Edwin and John. They wrote something up. The company wrote something up already, and at the moment is in the review state. So this is for the public what's it called, public announcement for this whole MicroProfile measure. They also Eclipse Foundation also reached out to me. And for another, also is kind of they interviewed me Friday last week for writing a newsletter in the Eclipse Foundation, especially on the MicroProfile 5, and also talk about a little bit about MicroProfile 6 and upcoming releases and etc. I think they are targeting the first article to be released, to be made public very soon, very shortly, because that's based on the review. So how soon 3 of us can go back to say, yeah, looks good. So I think very soon, maybe in a few weeks, that'll be out. And the newsletter should be out soon as well. So two things they are working on.
Okay, that is good to know. Emily, what is stopping you from updating the Git issue to provide feedback? We all understand that the Eclipse Foundation will work and operate in their own way. That means our community will have no visibility on any of the work.
Yeah, you were right. It didn't occur to me. I would have, but they reached out, to me. So it didn't occur to me. I should provide an update. I thought someone else would do that. But since you asked, I will do an update.
That would be wonderful. I think biasly here, everyone knows how I'm very big into when we do something, especially when it's an open source, make sure you bring others aside from yourself to review that work, or at least know, hey, we're doing X, it's so much fun, be a part of this. It's just, this is coming in, it's going to land very soon, so that we're all excited and feel a part of the process. When we get dropped, there is no ownership and we're like, okay, whatever. we don't want that to happen in MicroProfile. And that means that when we are part of these processes and they are in a vacuum environment, it is our job to bring them to the open, because MicroProfile, one of the cores, is about openness and transparency. So Emily, I think it's amazing because you, Edwin, Emerson were part of the 5 release. You should be highlighted and quoted in that document. Example, if you see in review the document, if you don't see Emerson in that review with a quote, you should be asking that organization, why is it that I am more important than someone that worked with me in this release? I am not okay, right? And it's a personal choice, professionally speaking, to make sure that those that have not been given a voice are given the voice because they earned it. It is our job to set up the standards of how we want MicroProfile to be presented, especially formally through the foundation, right? Like,
So-
this is what it means to communicate and collaborate. So it's just so much fun, and now you have a lot of work.
Yeah. I think it's a kind of again, these are also scalable something. They kind of interviewed 3 people. I think it's a kind of the article based on the interview. I think it's a kind of with the feedback and etc. I can ask them whether they want to make the article available to be released, to be reviewed by others. Maybe that's kind of worthwhile, released by others. But anyway, I was just be one of the like a participant. So it's the whole thing is driven via a task and etc. So by the way, I'm just said I'm a participant.
Yes,
I'm not driving it.
totally.
But I'm happy. I
Mhm.
just being happy to volunteer to share anything needed for this. I mean, yeah, for this.
Emily,
activity.
you are amazing. You're amazing. In talking with you openly on this, I think it's super important because that is what we do. So rocket, make sure others are highlighted as well, because that is super important. It sets your signature and it protects you as well. And then just have fun, right?
I
Have
don't
fun.
even know. I haven't looked at. I had a quick glimpse. I'm fine without. I mean, refer to my name. I don't think it's refer to anybody's name. It's just like community effort. So the whole MicroProfile article and etc. So I
Yes.
think it's just take as a collaborative. I mean, contribution. Is not highlighting any particular people's contribution. So that's what I want to come
Yes.
across.
Well,
So,
there
We're
Yeah.
4 minutes over.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Brian,
yeah.
thank you.
so okay, as a to-do, I will review that. I will ask them whether they want willing to share, maybe after the review and etc. share the draft with them with the Git issue, or put a link there for more people to get involved to add any comments. Yeah, anyway, again, I just like a comment from participation point of view. You see.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good call, everybody.
Good call. See you all soon.
Yeah,
you.
great.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, super fun.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, bye.